All right, now we are in at Naja's High Sierra Desert Oasis, and these are the gas prices here. No joke.
If you have walked into a grocery store lately and felt a sudden familiar chill, you are not imagining it. You are not just being paranoid. Across the country, ordinary people are looking at the shelves and feeling the exact same thing. It is a quiet realization that something is shifting. We are seeing gaps on the shelves where bulk staples used to be. We are hearing the whispers about supply chains, about diesel prices, and about global shipping choke points. People are talking about 2020 again. But this time it feels entirely different. This time there are no mandates or sudden lockdowns driving the panic. Instead, it is a slow, methodical bleed. And millions of Americans are quietly making preparations without waiting for the evening news to tell them it is time. I'm John Marks. If you enjoyed this kind of content, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. More videos are coming.
I am increasing the amount of videos that I normally do in the morning because I think you guys know that it's getting pretty serious and rough for us normal people. Okay, I have another list. I'm going to do it in two parts. 11 Walmart items. Number 1, oxygen absorbers. Okay, and I use those with my Mylar bags, and with a very short time window, they take out everything in that bag. It stops bugs and larvae. You don't have to pre-freeze things. Put it in a bag, Mylar bag, put an oxygen absorber, and larvae and bugs cannot survive. It also stops oxidation and flavor degradation. Yes, they have them at Walmart. That is interesting. $8 to $10 for 100 of them. That's a pretty good price. Number 2, Mylar bags. I was shocked to find out that Walmart has Mylar bags. And by the way, I am going down to Walmart this week. I hate my Walmart, but I'm going to go down. Okay, Mylar bags. It's an inert storage environment. But please realize that you need to keep Mylar bags inside a storage container so that little mices can't eat the Mylar. They love Mylar. And then store that in a cooler place inside the house, not in your garage. Every 10 degrees, below 70 degrees is preferable. Get it as low as possible. I think the closet is at about 65, where I store mine. Number 3, peanut butter powder. Much preferred to just peanut butter. Yes, you have peanut butter, but realize that it goes rancid after a while, and you can't taste rancidity when it starts to happen. So I have peanut butter. I've mentioned that before. And I also have a lot of peanut butter powder that I've put, let me show you, in Mylar bags. I put 1/4 cup in each bag with the instructions on the label. I'm labeling these right now to how to reconstitute. And this with an oxygen absorber in a cool place within a storage container will last years. You can take it without reconstituting, add it to so many things for flavoring, muffins and also oatmeal and rolled oats. Okay, number 4, Vaseline petroleum jelly. I'm getting about 4 more. I have 4 of the larger containers. And Janet put it on the Band-Aid that is covering the wound on my back from my cancer surgery, a pre-cancer surgery I got this week. It is better than antibiotics. Vaseline has many uses. I did go into that before. It can be put on a bandana, and when you go out in a dusty environment or go into a building that's been damaged by whatever, the particulate matter cannot get through the Vaseline. It's also a great fire starter. Roll out a cotton ball, put Vaseline in it, roll it back up. It will keep a flame burning for an hour. $4 for a large container at Walmart. The mineral compound does not degrade. We're looking for long shelf life storage items, guys. That's your foundation. Number 5, Crisco. And I demonstrated how to take a pound container of Crisco and use a beeswax candle, tapered candle, put it down into the container and make sure that it's not too tall. Cut off the bottom, measure it on the outside, cut off the bottom, have about this much above the Crisco. Light it, it will give you heat and light for 72 hours. Not 72 days. Don't believe that bullshit. Okay, it's resistant to rancidity. Say that 10 times. And it's a cold weather barrier on the skin. So it has multi-functions, and it's a mechanical lubricant. Okay, guys, that's part 1 of 2.
Hi, these are some of the things that I bought early last year to prepare for what's currently happening in the United States and how much worse it's going to get. This isn't everything that I have because obviously everything that I have is not your business. But this is just to help people know where to start if they do want to start getting things to prepare. A little late, I'm not gonna lie, especially because our last round of gas and oil just came through. But let's get into it. Number 1, electric water filter. Number 2, this is a radio, flashlight, and like 2 other things. It also has like a little solar panel. Yeah. Number 3, survival meals. This one's creamy Alfredo pasta. I have not tried one of these because they're strictly just for when shit hits the fan. Number 4, a ton of seeds, specifically heirloom seeds. I have fruits, vegetables, herbs, all types of flowers, all types of peppers. I try to get as much as I could of everything I could think of. I also bought a safe, and these aren't items, but I also switched over to a credit union bank, and I make sure to take out cash from every source of my income, just a little bit here and there to prepare. So yeah, I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments what you guys are doing if you feel comfortable sharing. But yeah, let's buckle up, America.
We are living in some wackadoo economic times, to say the least. This is what we are doing to prepare for the unknown that might be coming down the road. We are shifting our focus away from debt payoff, which I know sounds crazy because this account has for a very long time been a debt payoff focused account. However, when we're not really sure what's coming down the road, we are trying to hold on to a little more cash than we normally would. So things are already pretty tight around here, but the tax return that we're going to get that we would normally put towards debt payoff, we're going to hang on to that just in case we need it. An unexpected bonus, a good side hustle month, all of that would normally get put towards extra debt payoff over and above minimums. We're just going to kind of pump the brakes a little bit, hold on to it until things sort of level out. Who knows how long that's going to be. What most people do when they are wanting to get serious about their finances is they look at either increasing their income or decreasing their expenses. And sometimes it's a balance, right? They're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Right now, we are kind of tipping the scales. So increasing our income is top priority because we only have so much time and energy. And if we are putting so much of that into decreasing expenses that are already pretty tight. So I'm talking, this is going to save us $10 here, $20 there, versus putting that same time and energy into increasing our income, which is going to make a much bigger splash, if you will. This year has been the year that my husband has said yes to every single paid stipend option that has become available over at the school that he works at. And this for me has been the year that I have really ramped up my side hustle efforts. I will list my current side hustles here if you want to see them. can we talk about grocery budgets? This is the one expense that I really am paying very close attention to because it has a tendency to really get out of control if you just kind of let it free fall. I think that that is because we will justify in our minds, well, we have to eat, right? We don't have to have streaming services. We don't have to have subscriptions or these other things that we're spending money on, but we have to eat. So, $1,800 in groceries for the month. Well, but we had to eat. But I know a few tweaks can add up to a few hundred extra dollars every single month. And that is just something that I simply am not willing to just throw away. Above all else, I know it's easy, especially if you are on apps like this, to doom scroll and start to panic about what is coming down the road. One thing that my husband and I say to each other all the time when the other person is freaking out about something is, hey, there's lots to think about. There's nothing to worry about. So I don't want you to panic. Those are just some things for you to think about.
I think this year, this summer, 2026, is going to be a repeat of 2020. In my personal opinion, everything that I keep seeing and hearing from food vendors, purveyors who are my friends. I've, owned a restaurant for 10 years, a food truck, one of the best in the country. I'm a very high-end, very highly respected chef, so I have a lot of contacts in the business who I keep in touch with. And we have been discussing how the price of goods, toilet paper, milk, toothpaste, shampoo, paper goods, everything is about to skyrocket. I'm talking double, triple prices in a matter of a couple of weeks. Now, supposedly only the higher ups are talking about this stuff right now. They're kind of keeping it hush-hush in their companies. Now, things get leaked all the time. Hearsay, blah, blah, so on and so forth. I'm a very big believer on doing your own research, but I also, have a lot more time, personal time than a lot of people because I'm waiting to have another surgery, and so I'm currently not working. I'm working, but I'm not physically working out. I'm working from home. So guys, buckle up. I think that the month of May and June is going to be the beginning of hell on earth for America. Now, am I scared? We got through 2020, didn't we? We're still alive. I'm just sick and tired of having to live life on the edge of bankruptcy and not knowing how to pay bills and all this shit, just like all of us. So this isn't to fearmonger anybody. Let me make myself clear. This is just to keep you guys informed of my opinion and my beliefs and from what I've been hearing from my sources and my contacts. Supposedly gas prices are supposed to go up quite a bit this month, in the month of May. So I don't see many people traveling for summer vacation. Sorry, it's super bright out today. Look at the sky. It's beautiful out. So do your own research, stay informed, because I truly believe that they're trying to throw a blanket over our faces and distract us with all the other things that they're crazy, stupid things that they're doing. To keep our mind off of the real truth. The reality of America is that we're in a recession. I believe we're in a silent recession right now. But I truly believe things are going to get a lot more difficult over the next few weeks into next month. And I think it's going to be a long ride until we're out of this. Even when we do come out of this, how are prices ever going to go back down? How are they ever going to go back down? Life is just fucking hard for all of us. My heart goes out to people that are single. I'm a single dad, but I share custody with my ex. But for the people that are raising kids on their own with no help, I don't even have words. I feel awful. That's why I made a video last week, or I guess it was the other day, on how people could even fathom having a child in 2026 unless you're extremely well off. So buckle up, guys. I think it's going to be a long, very long summer. Our electric bills, our water bills, the groceries, the gas, rent, insurance, everything, medicine, prescriptions, everything is going to be, I think, at a all-time high like we've never seen it before. Oh God. All right, guys, have a good day. I'm off to see my kid play sports. Try to enjoy the day.
I'm not one to fearmonger, but I do believe that this is something that everyone should take into consideration when talking about the state of affairs. So I've been listening to a lot of people's takes and how, you know, the fuel prices will affect certain things, but I don't think people really understand the magnitude of how this is going to play out. And see, I've been a truck driver for 8 years. I've been a container driver for about 4 years, and I'm seeing a lot of shifts in the container side of trucking. And when it comes to fuel is getting up there in almost $6 per gallon for diesel. And people are saying that if oil gets up to $300 a barrel, that's going to equate to about $15 per gallon. And do you know what $15 per gallon for an 18-wheeler will cost? You're going to see a lot of companies, small companies, big companies, go out of business. They're going to take their losses and they're going to get out of Dodge. And it's going to happen rather quick, right? So when you have a shortage of trucks moving product, you're going to have it's going to take a lot more time for that product to get on the shelves, because there are only going to be a couple of companies that's going to be able to move this stuff. And I was just in a driver's meeting 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was in a driver's meeting about 2 weeks ago. And these companies that ship their products to the US, they're stopping. They're stopping solely off of fuel. Because once the fuel goes up, then the companies hauling said products have to charge accordingly to ship to move that product to wherever it has to go. And a lot of companies are getting rid of their contracts with a lot of these companies. So a lot of these companies are losing contracts due to fuel. So not only will you have a large amount of companies going out of business strictly on fuel, but you're going to have a longer time for said materials to get to us due to no one being able to move it. So with that being said, I would rather you play it safe than sorry and start stacking up the stuff that you need to get, that you normally get, because I'm not saying that it's going to be a desert out here, right? But it might just be a desert out here. It's definitely about to be a hard time for a lot of trucking companies, especially your small 1 to 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 trucks. It's going to be a hard time for them. It's going to be hard for your mid-sized companies. It's going to be hard, very hard for your larger companies as well. So at the end of the day, to the truckers, know when to hold and when to fold. Pretty much it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be hard.
So many people have been reaching out asking, what do normal people do if this global tension continues to escalate? There's a tiny bit of reality. Most everyday civilians do not experience war directly. May actually feel first is going to be supply chain issues. Normally, these 3 things show up first. Fuel prices spike, which right now that is already happening. Diesel's over $5 a gallon and gas has went up over 30 cents overnight. 2, food prices are going to increase. And 3, certain items are going to start to disappear off the shelves and they're not going to replenish. That's why basic preps matter. Make sure you always have extra food. Start with 24 hours, 48, 2 weeks, and continue to build that stash. Make sure you have options for emergency lighting, flashlights, solar chargers. Remember, It is still possible that our grid could go out because that could be a form of warfare. So make sure you have options if the grid goes down. And don't go extreme. Just being prepared beats not having anything.
You want a little behind the scenes of what it's like to be a business owner right now? In the last 7 days, we have gotten a price increase notification from almost every one of our suppliers. Only one of our suppliers actually hasn't sent us a price increase email. And the reason, all of them are saying that it's because of the Iranian war. Because oil can't get through the Strait of Hormuz, meaning everything that uses oils, plastics, fuel, all of it has gone up. So for example, our plastic bottles, these that we ship all of our stuff in, these bottles just went up by 5%. Our packaging costs, just like this, just went up. Our labels haven't gone up yet, but they told us that they're probably going to. USPS announced an 8% increase on shipping costs, which we offer free shipping. So that means our costs, again, go up because we're not passing that on to the consumer. And so then we're faced with the decision, well, if all of our prices and all of our costs are going up, what do we do? And as a small business, we try not to just go raise prices through the roof, and we try and just watch and see, what is going to happen. As I'm recording this video, literally right now, I just got an email from Amazon saying that they're adding a 3.5% fuel and logistics related surcharge to fulfillment by Amazon, which we don't do FBA right now, but if we did, we'd be paying more in fuel and more in shipping. So this is the trickle down effect, right? It starts with a war on the other side of the world. We're here in the US. And then as things continue to escalate, all of the supply chain gets more expensive. Well, if the supply chain gets more expensive, that impacts us, right? And that's not just us. Every small business, every large company is experiencing the exact same thing, which means that all of our stuff is eventually, even if we don't do it right now, if all of this continues, at some point we will have to raise our prices, right? So if we have to raise our prices, then you as the customer are then having to pay more. So it's this trickle down for something. I mean, it's a global economy. That's what we have. And it's just, there's nothing you can do about it. We're just watching it happen in real time.
For the people who are saying that those who are telling people that they need to start prepping are fear-mongering, one of two things. I have two questions. One, are y'all really believing what the media is telling y'all? That gas prices are really what they are? Or two, how long do you think the government is going to be able to continue to subsidize the gas prices? The prices are being subsidized right now. That can't last very much longer. Experts are actually giving us about 2 weeks before we really start feeling some impact in our pockets at these grocery stores. And we already know most stores have already switched to the digital labels that automatically update the prices right there. So we're not fear-mongering. We're seriously telling y'all to stop listening to the media or listen to what the media is not telling you and move accordingly. Like, you don't want to be caught literally with your pants down and having to be in a situation where you can't get your family straight. Think about it. If I'm making $20 an hour and I'm working 40 hours a week, and I'm having to pay $300-400 a week almost for gas alone, I can't afford to go to work. Like, seriously. And it's really so messed up because the way the system is set up, depending on where you live, you're better off quitting your job and literally doing nothing and just living off of welfare. But that's the mindset that they want Americans to have, so that you can, by 2030, own nothing and be happy. That's what Elon Musk said. That's what they want. They want everybody to be okay with a universal high income and have the American government give you a monthly stipend for you and your family. You sit at home and do nothing but be lumps on a log just sitting there while the government pretty much do what they want to do. No, we have got to, y'all need to get some food in there. Make sure you have a water source, an energy source, and a power source, because it's going to start with energy lockdowns. Energy lockdowns is going to be the first place to start, and then it's going to roll over to rationings, food rationings. I just left my local Walmart. We have no bulk bags of flour, no bulk bags of sugar. So that means people are actually buying it, or they're not getting it in stock, because usually those items are always stocked. Every time I went into Walmart before today, those items were stocked. So either people are waking up or they're not getting access to those items. It ain't just us being paranoid, it's us being realists.
So I'm on my way to Costco to blow a bunch of money on food and supplies. I was in corporate America for over 20 years, and had, accumulated various 401ks that, didn't have a lot of money in them, but like over 20 years, whatever little bit you were able to put aside turns into at least a few $1,000s. I've ended up cleaning out all of them. The last one, within the last couple of years, literally just to survive, just trying to continue existing in this world, or this system that we're stuck in. Anyways, so the last one I pulled out, we still have most of that in cash, just set aside in like a lockbox in our home, just because I if you're paying any attention to the economy and the stock market and shit, it's going to crater in historic fashion sometime, and it's going to be soon, whether it's months from now or if they manage to prop it up a little longer. But anyways, that's to say the money for Costco is I was thinking I was just going to use some of that, but now that I'm thinking about it a little further, I think I might just put it on a credit card, because it's probably going to be better to have cash on hand as we get further into this nightmare. As things get more dire, it's, we might get to a point where it's cash and carry only for stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying not to freak out, but I'm a little freaked out. I don't know how much attention anybody's been paying to the war on Iran and what the Strait of Hormuz being closed has to do with global trade, not just oil, but supply chains in general, and how everything is already for a lot of countries around the world. We're going to start seeing and feeling the effects of it here in the United States. And just quick example, if you want to know like how this could impact you. I actually have a BJ's, like the big box club near me, and I went there to stock up on a couple things. One of the things that we like there was their brand cocoa, like cocoa powder for baking and shit. So I just stopped by there a few minutes ago. They don't even have a spot on the shelf for it anymore. So I don't know if that's just because for some reason they decided they don't want to carry a pantry staple like that, or if it's because the shortages are already affecting things like that. That's something that you guys can get used to for the foreseeable future. More and more things that we take for granted are going to become scarcer and much more expensive than what they are right now. So yeah, if you have extra cash by chance and you can afford to stock up on food, like a lot of non-perishable or longer term items and household supplies, things like trash bags, if you have animals, cat food, dog food, cat litter, pretty much anything you can think of that you take for granted right now is going to get more expensive and harder to find. I don't think it's fear mongering. I will say, with all the tariff bullshit that happened last year, and everybody was like, oh, the ports are empty. I live in the Northeast, and I got to be honest, I don't really recall there being any like crazy shortages of anything the way I was afraid there was going to be. With that being said, I do think the situation is different. This isn't just about trade policy. This is about like physical disruption of global trade routes and global supply chains that provide all the things that we need and that we want and that we take for granted. So, yeah, good luck out there. If you can stock up, and just best of luck to you.
Now let's understand what is actually happening in the big box stores and the local supermarkets. It starts small. You go looking for the brand of cocoa powder you have bought for years, and not only is it missing, but the tag is gone from the shelf. You go to buy a 20-pound bag of flour or a bulk bag of sugar and the pallet is completely empty. This is not a national shortage making front-page headlines, this is localized, quiet exhaustion of inventory. And people notice when everyday pantry staples vanish without an explanation, it sends a psychological signal to the American consumer. People remember what happened a few years ago. They remember the empty paper goods aisles. They remember the rationing. So what happens next? They do not panic loudly, they panic silently. They put an extra case of water in the cart. They buy 2 bags of rice instead of 1. They start looking into long-term food storage. And the data confirms this shift in behavior. Stores like Walmart are now carrying oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags in their regular inventory. Think about what that means. A major multinational retailer does not stock survival and long-term food storage supplies on a whim. They stock them because the demand from the average middle-class family has surged. It has become a normalized part of the American weekly shopping routine. But to understand why the shelves are thinning out, we have to look behind the store, we have to look at how the food actually gets there. And this is where the numbers stop being abstract. The entire American economy runs on diesel fuel. If you bought it, a truck brought it. Right now, independent truck drivers and small logistics companies are facing an absolute crisis. Diesel prices have been hovering near $6 a gallon in many parts of the country. For an independent owner-operator, that is not an inconvenience, that is an extinction level event. I want you to imagine the math. If oil prices spike further due to global conflicts and disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, we could see diesel go even higher. Some analysts and industry veterans warn of prices pushing toward double digits if supply chains completely fracture. When it costs hundreds of dollars more just to fill the tanks on an 18-wheeler, the small companies simply cannot afford to run the routes. They fold, they sell their rigs, they walk away, and when the small carriers disappear, the massive logistics networks lose their shock absorbers. The wait times for deliveries increase. The cost to ship a pallet of goods skyrockets, and those costs do not just vanish into the corporate ether. They are passed directly down the line, mile by mile, until they reach your local grocery store, and then they are passed to you. And here is what most people are not talking about when they talk about inflation. It is not just the food that is getting more expensive. It is everything that surrounds the food. Take a moment to listen to the small business owners trying to survive in this environment. Over the past few weeks, independent manufacturers and local suppliers have been flooded with price increase notifications. It is a relentless wave of surcharges. The plastic bottles they use to package their products have gone up by 5%. The cardboard boxes have gone up. The shipping carriers have announced an 8% increase on postage. Even massive fulfillment networks are quietly adding 3.5% fuel and logistics surcharges to every order they process. The reason is always the same: oil and global shipping disruptions. When trade routes are blocked or rerouted halfway across the world, it takes more fuel and more time to move an empty plastic bottle from a factory to a warehouse. And small businesses do not have the profit margins to absorb those hits. They try to hold the line for a few months, they try to eat the cost so they do not lose their loyal customers. But eventually the math breaks them. They have to raise their prices. And the American consumer, who is already stretched to the absolute breaking point, is forced to absorb yet another price hike just to maintain their basic standard of living. This is where it gets personal. Let me show you what this actually means for an ordinary family trying to hold it together. People are making financial decisions right now that would have sounded completely irrational 5 years ago. There are middle-class professionals, people who worked in corporate America for 20 years, who are currently liquidating their remaining 401k retirement accounts. They are not pulling that money out to buy a vacation home or a new car. They are cashing out their retirement just to have cash on hand for groceries. They are taking the penalty, paying the taxes, and driving to bulk wholesale clubs to buy rice, canned goods, and paper products. Because they look at the stock market, they look at the economy, and they trust their pantry more than they trust their portfolio. And honestly, it is hard to blame them. When experts warn that the true impact of global supply chain disruptions takes a few weeks to fully hit the retail level, people listen. They see the digital price tags being installed in the supermarkets. Those digital tags allow a store to update the cost of bread or milk in real time from a corporate office without a human being ever touching a sticker. That is a system built for rapid inflation, and families know exactly what that means for their survival. Now think about what that means for your household budget. The cost of living is pushing people too far. If you are making $20 an hour and working 40 hours a week, you are taking home a little over $600 after taxes. If you are spending up to $100 a week just to keep gas in your commuter car and another $300 at the grocery store to feed your family, the math stops working. It is a slow, Grinding realization that the wages simply do not match the reality of the checkout line. People are looking at their upcoming tax refunds. In the past, that money would go toward paying down a credit card, fixing a roof, or maybe taking the kids somewhere for the weekend. Today, financial priorities have completely flipped. Families are hitting the pause button on debt payoff. They are holding on to cash. They are stockpiling non-perishable food. Because when the electric bill, the water bill, the insurance premiums and the grocery bill all hit record highs simultaneously, getting out of debt takes a backseat to simply staying fed. That is the silent recession. It is a recession that does not show up in the official government employment reports, but it is deeply felt at the kitchen table every single evening. And that brings us back to the psychological scar tissue we all carry. Life has not been the same since 2020, we all know it. But what we are seeing now is the evolution of that trauma. People are not just buying extra toilet paper anymore. They are becoming methodical, they are buying heirloom seeds to plant gardens, they are buying electric water filters and hand-crank emergency radios. They are learning how to use petroleum jelly and cotton balls to start fires. They are learning how to render shortening into emergency candles that can burn for 3 days. These are not fringe survivalists living in bunkers in the woods. These are suburban parents, school teachers, and office workers. They are preparing for energy lockdowns, for rolling blackouts, and for sustained inflation that makes basic survival nearly impossible for the lower middle class. They do not trust the media when they are told the economy is booming. They do not trust the official inflation numbers when their own grocery receipt tells a completely different story. They are choosing self-reliance because they have realized that the system is incredibly fragile. In the end, someone absorbs that cost. When global supply chains fracture, when fuel prices spike, and when the value of the dollar slowly bleeds out, the bill always lands in the same place. It does not land on the desk of a corporate executive, and it does not land in the halls of government. It lands on your kitchen counter. It is paid for with your retirement savings, your peace of mind, and the extra hours you have to work just to stay exactly where you are. And if you shop for your family in America, you already know who is paying the price. Thanks for watching. Support links are in the description and on screen.